and welcome back to Well Played. I'm Caroline Hendershot.
And I'm Blake Morgan.
Hi.
Hi.
Did you miss me this weekend?
I did. It felt like the longest week in the history of weeks.
Wow. Why is that, you think?
I just was like doing stuff from like Thursday to Sunday.
You were booked and busy.
It sucked, but it was amazing. But it was also just, I'm so tired.
Yeah, you're socialized out.
Yeah, my social battery is
down.
on the floor.
Caputo.
Yes,
but
it is.
I did see, you sent me a picture, me and producer Sean, a picture of you meeting Ellie the elephant.
I did.
You were, the joy in your face was unmatched.
It was so cool. For those of you who don't know, Ellie is the Liberty's mascot.
Mm-hmm.
So
she's iconic.
Yes, local legend, local hero.
Yes.
I have been around her. I've been in her presence, but I've never been like bold enough to say hi.
Yeah.
But I was at this event. It was like an International Women's Day event with Diane von Furstenberg and YouTube that my manager and I got invited to on Friday.
That's fun.
And the chief brand officer of the Liberty was there to talk on a panel. So I guess that's why they brought Ellie.
Okay.
I don't know. Homegirl was out there.
Ellie's iconic. She deserves to be celebrated on International Women's Day.
If she could speak, she should be on a panel.
Correct.
I just don't think she speaks.
Understandable.
I did catch her on the way into one of the panels after a break, and I just turned around and I saw her and I was like, "Oh my God, Ellie!" And then she turned to me.
Oh my God.
And she did like a little a little dance. And I lost it. I couldn't find the words. So I saw her in passing that one time. I went to the bathroom and then I came back out and she was still there. So that was my moment to ask her, "Can I have a photo with you?" And she nodded yes because she can't speak.
Okay. I was going to say, whoa, she speaks now.
And the thing that surprised me, took me off guard, was that she went in for a kiss with her little trunk at first.
God.
Which is why I was so shocked in that picture I sent you.
So like overcome
I was like,
with
is she
joy.
allowed to do that? Like, I don't know.
For her special favorite, she is. And you are one of them.
I guess I was.
Wow.
So I got a photo with her.
Well, you've made it.
Yeah, it was a pretty special moment. I mean, the whole event was really cool.
Yeah.
We got to hear from, Beyonce's mom was there.
Casual.
Miss Tina Knowles, Tina Brown, Diane von Furstenberg. She was really funny. She was a clown.
Really?
Yeah. She literally was like, if you're having trouble with men, when you're looking at them, just imagine them as a little boy.
Correct.
Like you're talking to them like they're a little boy. And that should help you get through to them. And I was like, okay, never thought of that before.
You have to dumb it down a bit.
Yeah. No offense, Sean.
Yeah, sorry, Sean. He's laughing. Okay, how did you celebrate International Women's Day? Because that was on Saturday.
I was just out here being a woman, I guess. I don't really know. Did you celebrate it anyway?
I mean, I bossed my sweet fiance around.
There you go.
What else is new? But I do that all the time. We like went suit shopping for the wedding, and I was obviously
he's not rocking a tux.
I was saying yes, no kind of thing. I don't think that's the vibe. You know, it's like
I don't know anymore. I've never been to. Why do I say anymore as if I've been to like 1,000 weddings?
I don't know anymore.
It's because I used to work at a formal menswear shop as a teenager.
Obviously, the lore of Blake continues. Yeah, but I didn't really do anything celebratory other than that. Oh, you know why? Because Apple and Google removed International Women's Day from the calendar.
You did bring that to my attention.
So people forgot.
I forgot. I felt like Friday was my celebration.
Well, that's
listening
good.
to a lot of smart women talk.
I will just say, International Women's Day falling on the day that we lose an hour doesn't sit right.
Yeah, that was really wrong. I'm feeling the effects of that lost hour, personally. I also forgot to mention, I got to interview the sports content creator, Katie Feeney, and she was so cute.
Yeah.
And she got to moderate a panel. And it was like so interesting because, you know, if you are somebody who doesn't work in media, she is obviously very accomplished with her many accolades, her followers, her engagement, blah, blah, blah. But after the talk, she was just like, I was so nervous. Like, I just have never moderated a panel before. I was like, oh my God, I would have no idea because she's such a natural.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah, I was really happy to see that for her.
Lovely.
But anyway, we have a lot of topics to get into.
We do. We got to dive in.
A stacked show, as always.
Yeah. There's a potential new sports couple on the rise.
There is. I don't know. I'm like, I wanted to save it a little bit, but
yeah, we'll tease. We're teasing. We'll leave the tease at that. Kylie and Timmy had some PDA.
A not so secret couple.
No, not the opposite of the first note. And then also some NFL rumors and signings.
I can't wait to get into that for you because I know that I knew that was coming up in our show. And at first I was like, okay, maybe I should do a little bit of research into the character. I just call them characters.
Characters.
They're players.
Hilarious characters.
I was like, I'm going to treat these like characters. I'm going to let Caroline tell me exactly why I should care about these people. So I did no research, actually. And I'm excited for you to give me your pitch.
Good.
As to why I should care.
Okay, I like that.
Can't wait for that.
All right, let's get into it, shall we?
Let's get into it, yes.
As always, we've prepared a roundup of our favorite stories dominating your feeds this week. It's time for Playing the Field.
We start Playing the Field with a story about a new sporty power couple that Caroline had just mentioned. Everyone's kind of talking about it. It's the word on the street, even though these two haven't exactly hard launched yet.
Right.
It all has to do with the internet.
Okay, so let me explain, since I am addicted to TikTok and I literally can't stop. It's really bad of me. So Ben Shelton, he is a tennis player. He posted one of like there's a trend at the moment with Glorilla's song. I believe it is titled ILBB2. I don't know what that stands for.
I don't know either.
I didn't look it up. But anyways, there's like a famous lyric line in it where she says, "They say that shooters shoot. Duke Dennis, what's up with you?" And so now people are taking that trend on TikTok and like kind of shooting their shot.
Right.
So Ben Shelton takes that and puts that music in the background and puts T space, like, what's up with you?
Yeah.
When that's like part of the lyric comes up, and it perfectly spells out. Well, it doesn't spell
like
out.
the amount of characters are there would
Yes.
spell out Trinity's name.
Trinity.
Yes.
And so people are like, oh my God, Trinity Rodman. Oh my God. The following day, Trinity Rodman does the same trend and does 3 blank spaces, what's up with you? So now people are like, oh my God, there's a budding romance. Ben Shelton comments on her TikTok saying,
I didn't see
ain't
that.
no way.
What?
Yeah. And so, I don't know. Sparks could be flying.
Interesting.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
I'm like, are they texting behind the scenes? Like,
Yeah.
and like coordinating this?
Do you think that this is modern day Romeo and Juliet flirting?
Absolutely. I mean, I think at least every modern generation has a technological spin to their flirting.
What was your technological spin?
Funny, I was going to ask you, but since you asked me first, I mean, there were many ways because I unfortunately spent way too much time on the internet as a young person. I think I even had an AOL Messenger account, even though I was probably in like 3rd or 4th grade.
I definitely did not.
Didn't need that. I was on Tumblr, but that was more private.
Yeah,
so,
and also like for the girls.
Yeah. But the one that I can remember most is in 7th grade. This is so embarrassing.
Come on.
I'm going to share it anyway. So, do you remember back then? It was like 2011.
Yeah.
Blackberries were all the rage.
Sure.
Sean, do you remember this? He nods yes.
I did not have one.
Well, I did.
Okay, bougie.
And it's because I begged my mom for one. Listen, it was a refurbished one. She was like, all right, you can have one, but it's not going to be brand new.
Okay.
And honestly, the fact that my mom even bought it for me is like very shocking because she historically has like never been one to pander to the trends.
Yeah.
But this one time she gave it up for me. So there was this messenger called BBM and only people with Blackberries could use it.
The elite.
And, message each other on it. And you could set a status. So it was very much like AOL Messenger. It wasn't quite as hidden or like obscure as Trinity and Ben's, TikTok could be. Because I very, very plainly put like my crush's initials in my BBM status.
Yeah.
And it was honestly very creepy of me because like I know he didn't like me. I think I actually peer pressured into dating me. We slow danced at Carly Buckner's bat mitzvah.
Oh, Carly.
To Just the Way You Are by Bruno Mars.
Oh, romance. Modern day romance.
I think we started dating like a couple months after and then he broke up with me a day later.
Oh, it's still stuck with you.
It's actually funny. He was in my DMs the other day so I'm also wearing this Garmin watch. No, not like, listen, not in that way. Not in like a weird, like, honestly, it just shows you the kind of person he is.
Okay.
Because I literally, so I got this watch, the Garmin watch. I think I might have told the story last week. I kind of can't remember. And I was like thanking Dick's Sporting Goods because they're the ones who sent it to me.
Yeah.
And he literally was like in my DMs and he's like, I said like, thanks Dick's Sporting Goods. And he's like, haha, you said thanks Dick's. So that's just like what I was working with. Okay. What I was chasing.
Interesting
in
crush for you.
Yeah. Anyway, did you have any online flirting tactics?
I would say like, in middle school you had like your signature of your text messages. That was always but it wasn't like a crush. It was when you had a boyfriend, And although I like wasn't really allowed to date in middle school.
Neither was I, but you find
did
ways.
anyways. But I would say the more significant one was Snapchat. Like when they used to list your top 3 people that you Snapchatted, that was like
that was dangerous territory.
That was dangerous territory.
That was toxic territory.
And
I need them to bring it back.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, I don't really use Snapchat anymore. I just
my friends and I just started using it again as just like a group chat, basically.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of cute.
No, I only use it for like the saved photos. But anyways, I'm going on too long about this. But anyways, it was just like kind of a fun toxic thing to observe because you know what it's like stalking people's Venmo accounts, which yes, I have done it.
Okay.
No shame.
That
it's
is
the best
definitely
way to
worse
find
than the
out
Snapchat thing.
It's the best way to find out information. I'm sorry, who are you paying?
So true.
So anyways, it's kind of like that because it's like secret but not secret, you know?
Right. It's public but not public.
Exactly.
Well, not to be the bearer of bad news, but I did just see that Vogue came out with a feature about Ben Shelton the other day, and he did say, quote, "I have enough responsibilities on my plate right now. I'm just trying to figure out me." In terms of his dating, he denied any dating allegations. So it might just be some fun, flirty exchange on the internet.
Okay. Well,
and we might be reading
see.
too into it.
We'll see where it develops, if it develops, all of that.
But we can talk about the other relationship that we had mentioned at the top.
Correctamundo, because celebrity power couples, the video of Kylie Jenner sharing some PDA with Timothée Chalamet this weekend at Indian Wells has gone mega viral.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on it?
Okay. Here's the thing. Like, people are really up in arms about it. They're like, oh my God, he's not feeling it. He's like not whatever. First of all, that's one little clip that we're seeing. Okay. Second of all, I'm sorry. Have you literally never tried to force a kiss upon your boyfriend? Because it happens to me literally every day.
Does Scott play video games?
No, he doesn't. But like,
okay, well, my ex-boyfriend used to play, I forget what he would play.
Trauma dump. Here we go.
It was always like, I actually don't even remember because my new boyfriend, not that he's very new. But new boyfriend doesn't play video games. So I'm totally tapped out of that world. But it was like giving when your boyfriend is playing in the middle of like I don't know, not Fortnite. That's the only one that's coming to my mind right now, though. But like Fortnite, you know.
And they're locked in,
He's locked in. He's got like the earpiece on because he's talking to some like 12-year-old boys online, which he shouldn't be. And they're like shitting on him for his gameplay. And you're trying to give him a kiss on the cheek. And then he's like,
here's the thing.
Pulling away.
This is me when I watch Summer House. Like, I'm watching Summer House. Scott is like leaving to like go to hockey or play hockey or something. And he comes to give me a kiss. And I'm like,
no, please.
I'm like, yeah, love you too. Bye. I get it. He's locked into the game.
Right.
And also, he was playing along for the bit. My bigger gripe with him is, why were you wearing leather pants in the desert? Are you not sweating?
Tim?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why I just called him that.
Tim,
excuse me.
Your good friend Tim.
He was?
Yeah, he was. I watched a video of them
At
walking
Indian
in
Wells.
together.
Oh.
Yeah. He was wearing black leather pants in the desert.
Okay. That's ripe for swamp baths, I will say.
Beyond, like swamp thigh, swamp calf, all of it.
I did like his sporty top, though.
Yeah, no, they looked good.
Yeah.
And they looked happy.
She did look really good.
Oh, God, I'm obsessed with them.
Yeah, stomach rub, that shot was a bit odd.
Yeah, of course.
But I
was reading some lip readers, and obviously, or I was listening to some lip readers, rather, should I say. And he said, allegedly, ow, when he sat down. And then he was like, I'm okay. And like, they were all laughing about it. And then she started to rub his stomach. And he was like, I'm okay.
Yeah,
joking, but like something, I don't know.
You can always rely on the lip readers.
Yeah, right? I know. They're incredible.
Moving on with more play in the field, also following the thread of lip reading.
Yes, ma'am.
LeBron James.
This
story has to do with him, but not actually about what's happening on the court. It's like off the court, which I love. We're here for. So in the middle of his game, I think it was over the weekend, he had a little confrontation with none other than Stephen A. Smith. And the lip readers, they did their part to clear it up. Do you want to explain kind of what's going on? So essentially on Thursday, LeBron essentially confronts ESPN commentator Stephen A. Smith. And the Lakers are playing the Knicks, whatever. So they're kind of going back and forth. It looks like a very heated exchange because the video is taken from behind Stephen A. Smith, so you can see the back of his head, and then you can see LeBron facing forward. And LeBron is very animated, looks like kind of angry. And so then following that, Smith goes on ESPN the next day, goes on his show, goes on his podcast, and essentially just spills all the tea. And he's like, I was forced to confront this because it went viral, and like, I didn't want to talk about it, but like I had to. Yeah, I bet. And so he just like
tells the entire conversation that essentially LeBron confronted him about his criticism of Bronny James.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, he was coming to me as a father, and that I understand. Like, not as a basketball player, as a father. And like was kind of whatever. He was giving too much, in my opinion. Like, if you really were actually taking the conversation to heart, maybe just like keep that one private.
Apologize to LeBron. Move on.
Yeah. And just be like, yep, we had a private conversation. We're all good.
Right.
That kind of thing, you know? No, can't do it. Stephen A loves the spotlight.
Mm-hmm. His PR team probably hates him.
Yeah, for sure. So that happened. Then on Sunday, LeBron is talking to Richard Jefferson, who he used to play with, and they're usually very aware of like all the mics and everything, but I think they were a little close to the table where they call the game from. So you can see him like kind of whispering in his ear, but like it's loud enough where you can pick up the audio.
I know you could also kind of read his lips
right.
too.
And so he says like, I don't give an F. Once he starts pleading with me or talking about being a father, and he like rolls his eyes and he's like, I can't.
He's like, that gave me the ick.
And exactly. So obviously they're talking about Stephen A. Smith.
Right.
So there's just like so much drama, and the tension is high.
It's just funny. Well, first of all, the video, I love how you like gave a visual about the initial confrontation, because it's so funny looking at big ass LeBron
towering over him
and tiny Stephen A. Smith. He's kind of just like looking up. You can tell his head is, tilted upwards. And it's funny because obviously on TV he's so inflammatory. He's the biggest personality, and I feel like he really shrunk in that moment.
Well, also, I'm pretty sure Bronny James on socials commented on something of Stephen A. Smith's or something about him that went kind of viral, and was like, why is it always the clowns that can't ball like talking the most, or something like that, with the clown emoji a couple times. And it's just funny because Stephen A. Smith like wasn't good at basketball. I mean, not that I'm saying like you can't talk about basketball if you haven't played it or did not play it well.
But he's one of the loudest voices. And I mean, again, last week we were talking about how LeBron was making those comments about media shitting on players constantly. Yeah. And I'm sure this is probably one of his number one ops.
I understand that Bronny James will deal with the spotlight because of who his father is. I totally get that. But also, like, why don't you just talk about the players that are playing well instead of highlighting the players that are not playing as well, you know?
Also, he's doing well in the G League. It's okay. Leave it at that. We're also not really talking about the G League. You're only bringing up Bronny because of LeBron. Yeah. And there's just no need.
Yeah. It's just like, let's relax. Everyone's like kind of criticizing LeBron too about like making it a bigger deal because of the confrontation. Here's the thing. If you talk ill about my loved ones, I come for your neck too. Like, I get that. It's like the Papa Bear.
So you don't think he should have let Bronny just like let him fend for himself?
I mean, like, sure, like you can, but also like, I don't think it was ever, oh, you don't do this, I'll take care of it. It was more so just like he sees him. He's like, F you. Yeah. I have known you for way longer. Right. So just like relax a bit kind of thing. I don't know. I get it.
Yeah. I think overall, what do people who are not players, like, what's your take on Stephen A. Smith? Do you like him as a personality?
I've never met him, so I don't know him personally.
Yeah, but like, what do you see him on TV?
He's very loud. Yeah. But that's part of his shtick. Right. Like, that's what makes him talked about, is because he's so controversial and he's like a little bit of an act, you know? He's just very theatrical. So that's what gets people talking about him, because he says these outlandish things in a very outlandish way.
Yeah. He's got major Unk vibes to me. Do you know
For
what I mean?
sure.
You know what I mean? Like, just trying to tell you how to live your life. And then he just needs to be talked down to. Yep. And then he's like, all right, I'll be for my place.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay, so this next story, I'm excited to hear you talk about.
Yeah, I'm going to like try to take some deep breaths.
Yeah. Okay, so the U.S. Olympic team just received its biggest donation ever, which came in at a whopping $100 million. And it's intended to pay every U.S. Olympian and Paralympian $200,000 in financial benefits for each games in which they compete. There are a few caveats, though.
Yeah, so let's start with, this is going to start with the Winter Olympics in 2026. So every athlete that makes the U.S. team for the Paralympics and the Olympics will get this grant, essentially. So the $200K is going to be divided into $100K and $100K. The first $100K will be given to the athlete 20 years after they compete, or when they hit age 45, whichever comes later. Okay. Then the second $100K is given to a beneficiary that the athlete chooses upon their death. So a family member or like their daughter or son or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So this essentially is helping athletes that have competed in the Olympics kind of set up for the future in a better way because they get a later start to life typically. Like you're training for X amount of years when you're usually beginning a career or you're usually in college or something. So then this will help you later on down the line kind of thing.
A little financial security cushion.
Exactly. It's like very transformational when you think about an Olympic athlete's retirement, okay? Because the worst thing is if you have this incredible storied career and then you can't get on your feet because you just like whatever. Okay. The problem that I still have with this whole situation is not the gift of the money because I think that's incredible. I think it's personally the current athletes training are living like some are living below the poverty line. So I was reading this article on ESPN and it was saying that 57% of the athletes last year made $50,000 or less.
Like annually?
Yes.
Damn.
Because here's the thing. When you are competing or when you're training rather for the Olympics, there's 4 years where your name is not in the news, essentially. Think of like everyone loves the Simone Biles, the Katie Ledeckis. Like they love those athletes specifically like at the Olympic times, but they know of them throughout the training cycle. You don't know, and no shade to the rowers, niche ass rowing Olympians. Like that is a very niche sport. There's plenty of other ones like curling in the Winter Olympics. And so there's lesser known names who are not benefiting while they're training because a lot of athletes depend on sponsorship and kind of brand affiliation to help fund their training cycle. So just for a little context, I should say I didn't know this until my sister competed in 2012, but the International Olympic Committee doesn't give out prize money.
Right.
Several countries give out compensation for winning medals. So
only for winning medals too. It's like just because you participate doesn't mean you get anything.
Correct. So the U.S. will give out $37,000 for gold, a little over $22,000 for silver, and $15,000 for bronze. If you get fourth place, sorry, shit out of luck. Hong Kong, your gold medalist will get $768,000.
Wow.
So that's just a little bit of the difference. So like my sister, for example, when she was training for the 2012 Olympics, she had a stipend from her NGB, which is a national governing body. So think USA Swimming, US Rowing, USA Gymnastics. Like you're allowed to get a stipend from them, but it's very small because they're not government funded.
Yeah.
So she had $400 a month on her stipend. $400 a month.
Oh my God.
And she won a world championship, broke a world record, and made $4,800 the next year.
Sarah.
And then as soon as she was she only made $4,800. And then as soon as she was injured, she was dropped. Yeah. Oh my God. That's the reality that these athletes live in though. So it's like, this is really amazing for the Olympic athletes who have competed and their future. And I'm not knocking that at all. But like, there are athletes that we expect to go compete at the highest level. We expect them to bring home more medals than any other country, specifically more gold medals than any other country, and we're not helping them.
Well, also, just to make it a little more relatable, mostly younger people, historically more broke than older people.
Also correct. So like
just
the
like
100,000 that you're giving to them 20 years down the line probably
I
could be used.
I could use that.
Probably could be used a little bit more efficiently in the current day-to-day. Like what if they wanted to use that 100K to help train for their next cycle?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's okay. It's good you broke this down because when I was initially reading the story, I was like, oh, this is a great incentive for athletes to keep competing because they get this compensation for each games that they participate in.
So if you participated in 3 games, you would get a total of $600K.
Right. Damn. But only later in life, like 20 years or until you're 45.
Correct.
So it's like good, but also
and it
could be
only
better.
applies to athletes that make less than $1 million. So not
Simone
like
Biles isn't going to get it.
Yeah, and like the famous NBA players that play for
Right.
USA Basketball won't get it either.
Which is okay. They don't get it.
But it's just like, okay, I just think like the U.S. Olympic Committee says like, oh, we're going to protect our athletes. That's our number one priority. Sounds very similar to the NCAA, who's saying, oh, we're going to protect our student athletes. We care about the student athlete before anything. And then you're profiting off them and you're not giving them the proper care and support and money that they deserve. Just my 2 cents.
But y'all don't want to have that conversation. Just kidding. We don't have time for that conversation today.
But
I'm sure it'll come up.
They really come up. So let's close out Playing with the Field with a follow-up on a story we discussed last week. So this week with a more positive outcome. As you may recall, on our last episode, we discussed the F- grade that the Cincinnati Bengals received from their players this past season for their treatment of families on game day, in particular when it comes to childcare.
Yeah. So the Women's Tennis Association, or WTA for short, announced a new maternity leave program that covers more than just game days. The program will provide pregnant players with 12 months of paid maternity leave or 2 months paid leave for players whose partners are giving birth or for those who become parents via adoption or surrogacy. It's pretty cool. The WTA thinks this is going to benefit over 300 players.
It's incredible.
You know?
They're also offering grants for fertility treatments, including egg freezing and IVF. So before we get into details, what's your initial reaction?
I mean, this is obviously a win for women. And
I know, it's
just like
amazing.
such a, I love that this is a positive outcome given the story we talked about last week and just like what other leagues are doing. This is exactly what other leagues should be trying to strive for.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Also, specifically with the egg freezing, like as an elite athlete, that must be such a mental load off of you because it's a security blanket. Like if anything doesn't work out or if you want to have kids later down the line, you know that you have eggs that you have frozen. So it's like, okay, I can be all in my career right now and not have to worry about planning a baby between this tournament and this year and what happens if I am really productive during this season? Oh, maybe I should delay the baby, blah blah blah. So there's like so much mental strain. I'm
totally
sure
that's like mental gymnastics to the max.
100%.
That was one thing that really struck me. I just like feel like it helps women feel like they can do it all, not that they have to, but they can if they choose to. They can have a family, they can also be really good at their sport and not have to sacrifice one or the other. I feel like that was a big conversation around Serena Williams. Like, I don't think she wanted to choose between one or the other. I think it was time for her to retire and she was happy to make that decision when it came time. But I remember that was a conversation that she kind of brought up. Like, I hate that this feels like it has to be a choice. And Naomi Osaka has said something similar too. She famously has one little girl.
Yeah.
But also it reminded me of, not to like shamelessly plug here, but it reminded me of the Skim has this initiative that they started, I think like 2 or 3 years ago called Show Us Your Leave. And it was just like a really big campaign to get private sector companies at least to show off their paid family leave because that's something that is not offered at the federal level. And so it's really up to, unfortunately, like companies to take on that brunt of the work. So I think it was great that the WTA announced this and they're like very proudly showing it off. And I think just increased visibility into these benefits only helps other people, only helps address the problem and like helps other leagues. For example, like the NFL, maybe they'll see this and be like, okay, maybe this is not obviously offering their players maternity leave, but paternity leave. That's important too.
100%.
So I think that's really cool.
Yeah. And I think it's obviously like the elite athletes are rushing back to get back to their athletic careers.
Yes.
They're not typically rushing back for financial compensation, but like some are, like we just talked about, the lesser known names that still are competing are probably going back for financial security too. And no one should rush back. Like I remember Serena Williams, even she had this crazy complicated birth. She had a scary C-section and she was back on the court 4 months later. That's insane.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, she is also Superwoman, so like I get it, but yeah, it's just like no one should feel pressured to rush back.
Yes. Yeah. The program is being funded by the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund. And I feel like we all kind of know Saudi Arabia has been on a mission to break into sports, I would say, in like the Western world, but also hosting, I know the
like live golf is a big one.
Yeah. And the WTA Tour finals happen in Saudi Arabia. And this is kind of like a sticking point, I would say, for some people, because it's like obviously a win for women in tennis, but it also comes with a bit of like, I don't know. Basically, people are just concerned that about Saudi Arabia's record, I would say, with human rights abuses, particularly against LGBTQ people and women. In a 2024 report, Human Rights Watch alleged that Saudi Arabia's public investment fund is used to sports wash the Saudi government's record around human, women, and LGBTQ rights. Even Coco Gauff, I remember, I think it was last year, she was saying how she would consider not returning to the tour finals if their record on human rights did not improve. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a bit of a difficult situation. I'm happy for the women, but also understand like why athletes would be questioning or like wanting a bit more transparency into that record.
Yeah, it's a great step, but it does like just you have to acknowledge where it's coming from.
Where the money's coming from. We continue this episode of Well Played as we do every week with a roundup of all the sports action you need to be talking about. It is time for Tuesday Morning Quarterback.
Woo! Yeah! So NFL popped off yesterday.
I know.
Oh
I feel like it was everywhere I turned.
Wait, also, what a day for Twitter to be down. Literally, like the one day where the NFL news is breaking literally every second. Twitter's like, nah, we're going to chill for a sec. Yeah, that was alarming on a lot of fronts. So, but, figured it out. They persevered. The news still got out.
Nevertheless, she persisted.
Exactly. So, legal tampering began yesterday.
What does that mean, though? Okay, I kept seeing this word and I was like, it sounds like a crime is being committed. What does that mean?
So, essentially, the season ends, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the new league year has not begun.
Okay.
So, there's this period of time where some athletes are now, like their contracts are up with the team, so they're now free agents, but they're in this limbo land where they're not allowed to talk with other teams or negotiate with even like employees. Like I could, like if I were talking to a player about negotiations or contracts or I don't know, whatever, I could get in trouble for illegal tampering. So the NFL takes it very seriously. So essentially the free agent cannot be in contact with any teams, coaches, personnel, discussing contracts or anything like of that sort until legal tampering begins.
Mm-hmm.
So legal tampering begins this past year. It began Monday at noon. The new league year begins Wednesday at 4 p.m.
So there's 3 days of legal tampering?
So there's 3 days of legal tampering. So it's like a frenzy where, and I mean, obviously deals can be made after the league year starts, but it's a frenzy right at noon where like all of these deals come through of like, oh, they're agreed to terms. They've agreed to terms with so-and-so.
Oh my God, this must be like the tax season for the NFL.
I think it's even more stressful than that. It's crazy. It's like all of a sudden every notification that you've ever had on your phone is going off.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it's very hard because all of these big names are now like switching teams and you're like, oh my God, who plays for what now?
That was what I was confused about.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to read a bunch of names.
Yes, ma'am.
In different categories.
Okay.
And you're going to have to tell me why I should care.
Okay.
So let's start with people who have been traded or signed already, even before free agency.
Perfect.
Let's start with Mr. Geno Smith to the Raiders.
So Geno Smith is a quarterback. He was on the Seattle Seahawks. He is now going to the Las Vegas Raiders. You should care about this because, honestly, heartwarming. He's like a 34-year-old quarterback who really broke out as like a 32-year-old. He had like the best season ever. And
Late bloomer.
There was like this iconic quote that he had that was like, everyone wrote me off, but I didn't write back. And it was like, mic drop, boom.
Yeah.
But anyways, so his old coach, Pete Carroll, is now coaching at the Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh.
And he was Geno's coach on the Seahawks.
Reunification moment?
So reunification moment.
Okay.
And they like love each other. It's really cute because like Pete Carroll one time said, Geno never gave up on himself. He's the illustration of believing in yourself. So it's just like, chef's kiss.
Okay.
Maybe they'll be able to, turn the Raiders around as my dad would really hope. So a little bromance is reuniting.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, DK Metcalf.
Okay, so DK Metcalf is a wide receiver. He's going to the Steelers. This could also be a potential reunification if Russell Wilson re-signs with the Steelers.
And they would also bring Normani. Wait, no. Does she date him?
I don't know.
I think Normani dates DK Metcalf.
I'll believe you.
It would bring Normani and Ciara together.
Oh, collab of the
Because
cinch.
Ciara, Russell Wilson.
Exactly. So if Russell Wilson stays there.
Right.
But DK is a very big wide receiver. So like essentially this is going to make the Steelers very scary, like very competitive, because they already have another very good wide receiver. His name's George Pickens. And Mike Tomlin, their head coach, has had like a winning season for the past, I don't know, bajillion years. He's very accomplished. He's always has a 500 or above record. This is going to really help them push to that next step, because usually they're like making the playoffs and making the postseason, but like they don't get far in it. So this could really bring them back into the combo.
Okay.
Yep.
Davante Adams.
Davante Adams is very exciting for the Rams because he was obviously with the Jets for a quick second, and now he's back to the West Coast because he was with the Raiders for part of last season, and then he came to the Jets. He was released by the Jets, so that's why he was allowed to talk with other teams. But I think that because Matt Stafford stayed there, their quarterback, he had that drama of like maybe leaving and then coming back.
Will he, won't he?
Adding a wide receiver like Davante Adams is going to make that team scary. Like, they are going to be very good next year.
A lot of scariness
on the
horizon.
I know.
Okay, last one.
Yes.
Sam Darnold.
Okay, so Sam Darnold, like, had this crazy year with the Vikings last year. He really broke out. No one was expecting him because originally they drafted J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan. J.J. went down, got hurt. So Sam was always kind of slated to be the quote-unquote backup. Then he comes out and he, like, shocks everyone. He plays the best season he's ever played. And so everyone assumed the Vikings would try to keep him. I think they might have tried but did not succeed because now he's going to the Seahawks for $100 million on a 3-year deal.
Wow.
So I'm very happy for him because I feel as though last year was really like his time where he shined. So kind of like a redemption arc for him, you know? And so we'll see what happens with the Seahawks and him. But I will say they definitely need to add more pieces in Seattle because of like DK Metcalf leaving.
The loss.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, side note, would you consider Sam Darnold to be a ginger?
Yeah, 100%. Strawberry blonde, actually, in more in particular.
All right, fine. I was going to say he's putting gingers on the map. Good for him.
He is. Justice for gingers.
Okay, we have 2 more categories. The next list of names involves people who got thickums contracts. Big, like, fat, new contracts.
Not even doing it justice. Okay, so Josh Allen.
A beloved.
Record guaranteed $250 million with a record-setting 6-year, $330 million extension. It is insane. To put it into perspective for everyone, take a deep breath because this is going to hurt.
I'm scared.
For the next 6 years, per month, actually, let's start with per second. Per second, Josh Allen will be making $1.74.
That's crazy.
Per second. Per minute, $104. Per day, over $150K.
Oh,
per week, over $1 million. And per month, over $4.5 million.
That's
insane. So that's how big that is. Like, that's how much the Bills value Josh Allen.
Oh my God.
Insane. I mean, this man has had the greatest, like, last 6 months of his life. Seriously. He's engaged to Haley. I'm sure they're planning a wedding. That he completes this great playoff run. He doesn't get to the Super Bowl, but that's okay. We're going to ignore that. He gets this record-setting extension. Like, man is thriving.
God.
Yeah.
I'm still hung up on that number.
I know.
I'm glad that he's a good guy.
Yeah, we love him. We love the golden retriever, Josh Allen.
Like, if you're a good guy with money, it's okay.
Yeah.
You get a pass.
Yep. Okay,
right.
and
also,
then
Myles Garrett.
Yeah,
that's
so
a name I've been seeing a lot.
This was drama because it was actually kind of funny because Myles Garrett was like, I'm requesting a trade. I don't want to play for the Browns anymore. I want to go play for a winning team. And I'm pretty sure he said somewhere warm. So then ownership was like, no, you're not. They denied his trade request. And then allegedly Myles Garrett requested to meet with ownership and ownership refused to meet with him. So it was like this whole thing. And I was like, oh my God, this is looking like it's going to be one of those things where it's a stalemate and it just drags on. Nope. All Myles Garrett needed to see was the $sign because Myles Garrett is now the highest paid non-quarterback, making over $40 million a year for the next 4 years.
It's crazy that like $40 million doesn't sound like a lot when you just heard about how much money Josh Allen, you know what I mean?
I know.
But it's like, I will never, ever have $40 million.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, last group of players, the actual free agents. Let's start with your boy, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, everyone's really waiting to see like where he'll go.
I'm so sick of him. I want him to just retire.
Okay.
I don't know why. I just have this feeling.
You should call him and tell him that. I'm sure that will go over really well. Some people are saying he's going to go to the Steelers. I don't believe that. I think he's going to go to the Giants.
How boring.
Blake's like, give me drama.
You know, your 40s, he's like what, 40 now?
Yeah, he's
39?
He's old. No, he's 40. I think he's 41. I think he's 41.
41. Yeah. Change it up. He probably doesn't want to change it up a bit.
Exactly.
It's like, let me just stay.
Yeah. No,
probably move a little closer to the city.
First of all, no one wants to move. Let's be honest.
True.
Moving's terrible.
It's true.
Yeah.
But I was like, maybe like closer to retirement age. You want to move to Florida. I don't know. Anyway, tell me more. Tell me more.
Joey Bosa.
Okay.
Brother of Nick Bosa, who's on the 49ers. There's some talks that Joey Bosa might be going to the 49ers, brothers.
Literal bromance.
Literal bromance. Mm-hmm. But then also some people are saying the Dolphins are interested in Joey Bosa, so people are kind of wondering where he will end up as well. That hasn't come out yet. But also, like, this changes by the minute, so, like, it could literally break in 30 seconds. And then also, the most important one of all, our newest free agent to be Olivia Culpo and Christian McCaffrey are having a baby. I freaked out because she is glowing, and this baby is either going to be the most superhuman freak athlete on the planet or a supermodel or both.
I would like to see both.
I mean, same.
Wait, did you also, I think I saw that, I don't even know his first name, Christian Juszczyk's husband.
Yes.
He's leaving the 49ers.
He got released, or he's going to be released, like, from the 49ers.
That's not going to bode well for her apparel, because she only started out with, like, 5 teams, something like that.
And one of them was the 49ers.
Obviously.
But he's been with the 49ers for, like, the last 8 years. So that just hurts the heart, you know? And it just... I was really happy for them. And also that like whole little friend group and the WAG group of like Christian's wife, Olivia Culpo, Claire Kittle, and Christian Juszczyk. Like the three of them were just like such a freaking force. Yeah. And now I'm like, ugh, sad.
TBD on where he goes, right?
Yeah, TBD. Okay. So we shall see. We shall see. Okay, so we don't talk about hockey very often, but we have to because Alex Ovechkin of the Washington Capitals is on the verge of a very major milestone, and you're going to want to know about it.
So Ovechkin, who's in his 20th season, he's 39 years old, is just 9 goals away from breaking a record that was once thought to be unbeatable. Yep. That's because he is just a few games away from passing Wayne Gretzky on the all-time list.
Yeah, Gretzky sits at number 1 all-time with 894 goals. Ovechkin hit 886 on Sunday. He's tied with the 4th most goals this season alone, which is hard for literally anyone to pull off, let alone a 39-year-old. And so analysts predict he'll surpass Gretzky before the season ends. He's actually trying to do it in less games than Gretzky did it in. So I think he has like 12 to go or so, which it's just like this man is unbelievable. And the best part of all of this is every time he scores a goal leading up to the record, he's donating that amount of money to pediatric cancer research.
That's amazing.
What a sweet little man.
Sweet little man.
Obsessed.
I was just like, you know, hockey players, if you're listening, maybe just like let a couple in to make this go fast. We could witness history.
Yeah. Don't you want to be a part of it? I'm sure goalies don't feel that way, but we could try.
Goalies everywhere tuned out with that.
All right, let's close out Tuesday morning quarterback with some college hoops because USC star sophomore Juju Watkins just set a new milestone of her own, surpassing the biggest names in the sport.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So Watkins set the record for most total points through her first 2 seasons, surpassing Caitlin Clark. And Juju's USC Trojans fell to top-ranked UCLA on Sunday, but they still are actually at number 4 in the nation. Yeah, like USC is a name I see in the standings quite a lot for the NCAAW.
I am wondering why more people aren't talking about Juju Watkins because, like, if she's surpassing Caitlin Clark, where's our love for Juju? Yeah. You know?
Well, I know she's only a sophomore, but, like, when is she going to go? Because clearly she's so good and perhaps as impactful as, like, Caitlin Clark. You know what I mean?
Like, go to the WNBA.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Like, don't you think she could be making more money through, like, NIL than she would in the W?
Oh, my God. I didn't even clock that.
Yeah, because they don't get paid that much.
Be down here.
It's like bottom
true.
level. So like maybe she will stay all 4 years because why not?
I would.
Maybe me too.
Get a nice little cushion in while you can. Why not?
Also, like finish your education, take your time.
You know what? Education comes first.
Live up your college years, and then you can go.
Although
to the
I don't know
next
how
level.
much can a college athlete live up their college years. You tell us.
I mean, yeah, it was.
How many parties were you going to?
Well, here's
that's
the thing.
It's not the point of college, by the way.
Here's the thing. I need my rowing coach to turn off the podcast. No, you find a balance. You do. And
that's very diplomatic answer.
It's very person to person.
This is like a PR coach just like went into your head.
100%. Yeah, like I used to be able to go out before some tests and then just like rip the test the next day and still PR on it.
There you go.
But like now I can't drink one sip of alcohol without a headache. So who was that girl?
I don't know her.
Not me.
We don't know her.
Not me. So that's cool. Lost all of that. But okay, yeah. Excited for Juju to keep accomplishing the next steps. And I think we should be her biggest advocates in talking about her.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, shall we send it?
Yes, we shall. So as always, Send It features 4 of our favorite viral moments from the week that you should be sending to your group chat. Caroline, who are you sending it?
Okay.
Who's sending it?
This is a two for one. Bill Belichick, similar to how I don't know my previous self, Bill Belichick also does not know his previous self because let me tell you, he is rebranding. He is the cool new college coach. He was dapping up his players like as they were, I think, like on a basketball card or something. Like he was like, maybe there were recruits too. He was dapping all of them up. I was like,
so odd.
Who is this man that everyone was afraid of in New England, who was grumpy, never smiled, never did anything? He was a different man in New England. And now he's like happy-go-lucky, dapping up players,
That's
college
so
coach.
Funny.
It's hilarious to me. Also, the UNC football players are practicing without any like names or numbers on the back of their jerseys because I think he's trying to instill the whole mentality of like the team is more important than the individual.
I see.
We'll see how that works with NIL and all that fun jazz, just because I think the transfer portal plays like a whole new dynamic into college sports these days. But I like that he's trying to bring that like old school mentality of the team. Well, as they say in Michigan, the team.
I don't know what that is.
Sorry, they say that at Michigan.
I was just saying you put the team on your back.
Exactly. And like you're going to put your teammate before you kind of vibe.
Yeah.
But I like
also
it.
We have to, shout out who's obviously responsible for the dap.
His girlfriend.
Miss Jordan Hudson.
Correct.
Famously 24 years old.
Correct.
Love that. She's really instilling a sense of youth.
R.I.P. to us getting the behind the scenes of their relationship on Hard Knocks.
I know.
But I digress.
Awesome.
I know. Sad.
I need more from her.
I
want to
me
hear
too.
her on a podcast.
Or like TikTok.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Give me more.
My turn. Okay, so let's give some love to a former well-played guest, Molly Carlson. We had her on during the Olympics.
Yeah.
Because she was an NBC correspondent for them.
Mm-hmm.
And she posted a video breaking down her own cellulite on camera. So she's a high diver. She was on like a diving platform and you could just see the cellulite on her butt and her legs. And she, at the beginning of the video, is like, my anxiety brain, my eating disorder brain told me like not to post it because I don't like the way that I look. But that would be the really unbrave thing to do. And so I'm really glad that I hit post and just reminded people how important it is to just love your body and be proud of everything that it can do and how strong that she actually is. She's like, just because I got a little cellulite on me does not mean that I'm not a badass athlete. And obviously she's jumping from literally like 50 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Something I could never do with or without cellulite.
Also, like, okay, every woman can relate to cellulite and like not liking the way you look, whatever. When I was an athlete, it was the fucking hardest thing to keep in mind of like, you need to feed your body so that you can perform at an elite level. And you can't look like the cross-country runner. You guys play different sports.
Right,
it's okay that you look different and that your bodies are different and that she looks different than you. You guys are still both doing incredible things with your bodies. Your bodies are serving a purpose. So, Caroline had to really remind herself of that. So I love Molly Carlson, like really reiterating that message because goddamn, people need that reminder. And honestly, like not only the female athletes themselves need it, but like everyone else out there who thinks like you don't have any fat on your body. I'm sorry, I had cellulite and I was the Big Ten athlete of the freaking year. So let's talk about that.
Wait, okay, that's like Caroline Lillard that I'm gonna revisit in a future episode.
Yeah, but not now.
Stay tuned. Yeah. Okay, next one.
We're gonna sidestep that. Okay. This one needs to be appreciated because holy cow. Like, if you're not watching it, you need to. It was the smoothest thing I've ever seen. It was iconic. So, Texas women's basketball players passed a shoe between themselves during an Ole Miss game flawlessly. So, Rory Harmon grabbed Madison Booker's shoe after it came off, held on to it as they like forced a turnover and a change of possession, threw it to her, and then like ran down the court so seamlessly. Yes. I was like, is that a shoe on the court?
They did a handoff, right?
It was picked up. Like, she like tossed it to her. It was so seamless. It was incredible.
It was amazing.
Yeah. Couldn't be me. I'm not that cool.
Okay, so for our last sentence, this one's really cute, and you have to watch the video if you hadn't yet. Just go on TikTok and literally look up Grandma Kitty. She is a Warriors super fan, and she finally got to meet Steph Curry she's 86 years old. She's from New York, and her granddaughter, I believe, posted a video of her showing her handwritten notebook of all the games that Steph Curry has played in. With like scores and who they played against, because she just loves Steph Curry so much.
Yeah.
And after that video went viral, I guess the Warriors team made Steph record this message. It was just like, he was like, hey, Grandma Kitty, like, love your fandom, would love for you to come out to our game in Brooklyn on March 6th. And she's like, oh my God, Steph Curry's in my living room. It was so cute.
She's so wholesome.
Yes, and she actually ended up going to the game and she got to meet Steph.
Ugh,
like, it was adorable.
What a like sweet.
I know. I'm like, okay.
I love the internet when it's like that.
Yeah. She was also like, I watch it on League Pass, and if it's not playing on League Pass, they play on ESPN too. She's tapped in.
She
knows her subscriptions.
League Pass, my God.
I know.
My parents don't even know what that is. Yeah, love that. She's so cute. Which one was your favorite?
I would say Molly Carlson, actually.
Yeah, Molly Carlson for the win with me too.
I'm just like, we're embarking on spring. I'm going to Florida in 2 weeks for a little weekend trip.
Yep.
I need some of that messaging to hit me because I have to be in a bathing suit. So
yeah, and it's like, you know what?
I'm going to wear the bathing suit. I'm going to wear the two-piece.
Wear the two-piece.
I'm wearing it.
Is it a tankini or a bikini?
Well, since I don't really have boobs, I think tankinis work better. Not tankinis like down to my belly button, but it's more of like the sporty. It's not triangle. Triangles do not work well.
Okay.
For me, president of the Itty Bitty Titty Committee. So
love that. That's so weird. I'm a member too. Okay, love that. Love Molly Carlson. But that's it for us. This app.
We'll actually be in studio next Monday.
Yes,
because we have a very special guest coming in.
Yep.
We're not going to tell you who. And former athlete, though.
But you have to check our socials because we'll be teasing it.
Totally.
So make sure you're following Blake at
BLAAA4KZE.
Make sure you're following The Skim on all of their socials as well. It's just The Skim with 2 M's. And also following moi at CG Hendy. But yeah, and make sure you're leaving us a rating and review. Make sure you're subscribed. You can check out our YouTube channel for full-length episodes.
That's kind of it, girl.
Yeah, I'm covering.
Let's wrap it up.
I'm trying to cover all the bases.
You did.
Okay, until next time, thank you for listening to Well Played,
the only podcast in League of Its Own.